pod. Welcome to the Deadlights podcast. I'm your host, Sam.
And I'm your other host, Leslie, and we're bringing you yet another week of horror.
Yet another one. And what just happened?
Wow.
What just happened?
I was so lost.
We all got lost in the woods of this movie.
I thought I was so high. I was like, am I here? Am I on Earth right now on my couch?
It's not mutually exclusive because we were very high, but also this movie was out there.
It literally was just like the whole time that we watched it, I was just like playing the dun, 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 dun. Yep, the whole time.
The cap.
Dun, 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 dun. Anyway.
Yeah, well.
What did we watch?
What did we watch? We watched Eraserhead from 1977, written and directed by David Lynch. Henry Spencer tries to survive his industrial environment, his angry girlfriend, and the unbearable screams of his newly born mutant child. Just a day in the life.
Oh boy, was that kid mutant.
Woo, baby.
Mutated.
This was one of those movies where I feel like if you were to go see this in a movie theater with like a bunch of friends, typically you walk out of a movie and you're like, what did you think? What was your favorite part? All this kind of stuff. This is one of those movies where you walk out and no one talks to each other.
No.
Everyone just gets in the car and silently drives home and then goes to sleep and has to process a lot.
A lot. I feel like that has happened to us several times.
We typically put ourselves in situations where we're watching movies that we're like, I need to digest that for a second.
Hold on, baby. Let's not jump into reviewing the movie quite yet. I need to process this shit. Yeah. Yeah, no, maybe so.
Maybe so. You never know.
Sometimes you know everything.
And sometimes you know nothing.
And you know nothing, and you just got to go with it.
You just got to go with it. Let's get into it, then, shall we? With that.
With that being said.
Let's get into the can.
Kata.
David Lynch. So, director and writer of this movie. And pretty infamous filmmaker in general. And also, you're a big fan.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan because his absurdism is one that I quite enjoy because it usually puts me in a place where I'm just like along for the ride and I'm not going to really look into it. But also he gives us a lot of imagery and very big caricature kind of characters where it's meant to put you in the uncomfortableness of things. He is saying something. It's like Picasso. You know? Picasso. Because Picasso would actually do the painting and then afterwards do the cubism. I don't know if he did that for all of his work, but, you know, you start off with the basis. You have to, in order to do something so abstract, you have to know, like, where to start. You're not just starting from, like, laying a puzzle out in the fucking table.
It's like you have to know the rules that you're going to break. And intentionally break them in a way.
Yes, exactly.
This is, I believe, his directorial debut. This movie was shot over a 5-year span. And
that's a long time.
That is a long time for a movie. That is part of it too. I think that more goes towards telling how much of a passion project this was for David Lynch.
It's my first feature, and it took the longest of any film, and I lived and loved that world.
So I think it's a great stage setter for a lot of the things that he does down the line in his films. You see so much of Blue Velvet in here and Dune even. You know, his big thing in this movie, first of all, it's black and white. So the lighting has to be on point. We got a lot of silhouettes, a lot of very intense light sources, like streaking down someone's face or highlighting a door, highlighting a very specific part of the shot. So his lighting was very intentional, and it had to be because it was black and white, and it was this very dark world.
It was.
And I think that his choice of our main character, Henry Spencer, having this pretty wacky haircut makes a really, really cool silhouette. He's a cool, absurd character to shoot and have backlit because he just looks really cool, lit. So he's lit.
There was a lot of different movies that I saw within this one as well. I mentioned it during the watching, but a girl walks late home at night.
A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Yeah, that one. You know, like when he was like walking across the screen and we just like lingered just a bit longer in the shot, and him walking through just like painting the city.
Yes, I think they did a great job through visuals of telling the story. Just in general, you know, they painted the world really well. We knew we were in some sort of almost like post-apocalyptic industrial world.
Yeah.
Without them having to talk about it. There was very little dialogue going on in this movie in general. So very, very well done visual storytelling, showing rather than telling, which is harder to do, but I always appreciate it more. It feels more true to life, even in this like crazy, wacky world that Lynch is making.
30 years. I've seen this neighborhood change from pastures to the hellhole it is now. I'd put every damn pipe in this neighborhood.
Oh man, and all of these characters were just so eerie. There was just like something off about everyone. We have the, I guess, love interest.
The girlfriend?
Yeah, Lynch has this really very he has these characters all throughout his filmography. Yeah,
This guy.
that's music.
Dropping another album tonight. Lynch on the beat.
Filmography, and he always has this like very nice girl. He usually has them be blonde and wearing very just like peppy kind of clothing, and then he has the seductress, the like brown haired gal. You know, she just seduces and she's like sexy and stuff, and he always has these two girls within all his work.
Can I spend the night here?
The peppy, like, was supposed to be pure kind of girl was like crying so like, I don't know, dramatically, and then the mom was like kissing, what's his name?
Henry.
And then the dad couldn't stop smiling. It's just everything was so absurd.
It made me think of 1950s Americana, like white picket fence. That was the style, but it's almost as if the bombs actually dropped.
I wanted to see where we can place how many styles there were among this film. And I think this is what set David Lynch apart from maybe a lot of filmmakers that were coming up, is that he used animatronics, claymation, film,
miniatures. Like we saw the big rock sequence at the beginning, and then we saw the rock breaking open, and then the massive baby head too.
Oh my God,
All
yeah.
practical.
All practical. I mean, he was just experimenting. And we got some really weird stuff because of it. But I think, like I said, like he was able to create a tone with it, like a mood that like just stays in you. And then you're just like, I don't know if this was good or bad, but it's memorable.
it makes you feel something. I think he successfully made us feel incredibly uncomfortable. And I read another fact, actually, that Stanley Kubrick used to play this movie. He used to have his actors like Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall watch this movie before they started filming to get into that like eerie mood. So clearly, this is a very influential film, whether you like it or not, whether you feel good coming out of it or you feel weirded out coming out of it. It influenced The Shining. Like, that was a direct influence. So it goes to the effectiveness of this movie.
Shut up! Shut up!
Well, let's get into the meat of it then.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into, because we are talking about, honestly, consequences of your actions.
You reap what you sow.
You reap what you sow. Season 3.
You sow what you reap.
You reap, you sow, you eat what you
Shit.
show. Something, you get it. The theme of season 3, you're right. Yeah, it is exactly you dealing with your choices in life. And I think that this one specifically, we're talking about fears of being a parent. We're kind of experiencing the story of this movie just through the lens of Henry. And at the beginning, he's not doing shit.
Mary tells me you're a very nice fellow. What do you do?
Oh, I'm on vacation.
So he doesn't really have a path. He's kind of just like this wayward guy that's just going with the wind of this weird world. And then he's thrust into being a husband and being a father in an instant. And so now he has to change his life completely and decide if he can do that.
There's a baby. It's at the hospital.
Mom!
And you're the father. After the two of you are married, which should be very soon, you can pick the baby up.
You don't mind, do you, Henry? I mean about getting married.
Especially when you've been just so placé, just like moving about life, taking it one day at a time, which honestly, there's nothing wrong about that. But you know, it is more of an action than just sticking your dick in somebody. There are consequences that are much bigger that you have to think about. I mean, I'm pretty sure he started thinking about it when he went and slept with the neighbor.
Her character very much was, like you said in the can, a seductress. You know, it was this question of, what if my life is different? It's that like other path that you could have taken in life. There's consequences to those actions as well, because he kind of gave into his temptation. And then we get the whole sequence with the lady in the radiator, who's kind of there as this looming fear that he has throughout the whole movie. And so she kind of becomes the Grim Reaper that comes to collect the debt almost. Like he fucked the neighbor, and then the next scene, she's there to pop off his head and amount him to nothing but a eraser shavings. And this might not be true at all. This is kind of just what I took from it.
Yeah, no, I feel like there's just like so many things to interpret from that, because one really cool thing about David Lynch is that he just is not going to tell you straight on what the fucking story is. Figure it out. Like, that is your job as the audience, because you're going to take away whatever the fuck you want, no matter how linear the storyline is or how fucking like in your face the facts are. You're still going to interpret something different, because we all are experiencing and moving about our lives in our own way, that if we see the same thing, you and I are going to see something different, you know? And I think that's what's really fun about creating something so experimental, so absurd, so just weird. I like it, and that's why I like the boy. What I took away from Eraserhead is that you have the choice. You have the choice to either create life or end it. We saw a lot of visuals of abortion, of maybe ending your lineage, because of fears or because of just not being ready. But I think one big thing that we can definitely take away is just the fear of just being a parent, becoming a parent when especially you're just going about life and all of a sudden this happens and you're just like, oh, right, yeah, now I have to change everything. Everything.
Even in this crazy world. Like, that's what I kind of like about it. It's like, it's a very real thing that he's talking about. And it applies even in this wackadoo world where the baby is this weird fish creature. And we care about it a little bit in the end. And we want him to make the right decision. Going back to the other point that I've started to make but then got veered off, that fantasy eventually leads him to some sort of death in a way, because his head pops off from the white woman. And then there's this whole sequence where they find his popped off head and make him into an Eraserhead. That's asking the question of, well, what does all of this amount to anyway? All the hardships that I've gone through in my life, raising a child, sacrificing for that, if ultimately I'm just going to end up eraser shavings, dust in the wind, what's the point of all this?
Well, yeah, that's why you try your best if you are going to have a child to raise a good person, because at the end you will die, but then this person is going to move about their life, and then their experiences and connections with people will then affect other people, and that will be what your legacy is.
Oh, I don't know much of anything.
Are you gonna be a good person, or are you not gonna give a fuck?
Yeah. Ultimately, he kind of chose to not give a fuck.
To fuck off.
Yeah, he was just like, because he came out of that maybe fantasy of him turning into a Eraserhead and decided that he did not want to have a kid. So he fucking let it die. He opened it up and let that thing suffer. And then ultimately, that again led him into the arms of the woman in the radiator. The consequences of your actions are coming for you. Mm-hmm. The cycle will continue.
Is this where we can talk about, or maybe it was the can, but like the pacing of the movie?
Let's talk. I think that's more in the cook.
In the cook?
That's how I put it all together.
All right, well, let's
get to the cook.
it up.
Let's go.
Let's cook it up. Yeah, the pacing of this movie, it's very slow. Very slow. It definitely took its time, which I'm happy. I love that he does this with all of his films. Yeah, no, this one definitely lingered and set a freaking feeling there. And just had you be in it.
I feel like that first opening scene, I still actually I'm not really sure what was going on in that opening scene, quite honestly, but I think it did actually do a great job of setting up the tone for the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. Everything is upside down. Everything is dark. Everything is well lit. And that carries through, that style, that tone carries through the rest of the movie.
Maybe he has a breedist fetish.
Maybe. He loves making babies.
He just wants to fuck everyone and make babies.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely fertile. He was pulling babies out of there left and right.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, how uncomfortable.
It was things like that and other seemingly random moments throughout the movie that just kind of built towards the fabric of this world And I put that part and also the part of like when we first meet the girlfriend and she has kind of like a freak out moment where she is like hitting her knee and then her mom needs to like comb her hair really fast to like calm her down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I work at Lapel's factory.
Or like the dirt piles in the corner. None of this was addressed at all, but it kind of just built more of this world.
And a man was on the board of directors at AFI and told Frank, this is not the kind of film that we make here at the American Film Institute. And Frank said, this is exactly the kind of film, you know, we should be making here at the American Film Institute.
Well, let's get to the thrill. And we've said it a couple of times, but he's really just setting us into the uncomfortable and leaving us there. He's like throwing us into a pool of uncomfortable with no ladder to get out, and then he leaves.
You got your good things, and I've got mine.
And he sets that tone and keeps it the whole time.
Which I think is pretty interesting to be able to continue with a mood as absurd as it is. It could go bonkers and we could be getting different things. And this is a movie in which is throwing shit at us, but it knows it continues on one solid idea. You're left confused, but you know you're confused.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But I didn't feel like...
I didn't say shit right now. I said absolutely nothing.
I haven't said a single thing. I've been talking the whole time, though. I don't know how that happens. I just talked for 90 minutes. I didn't say a single word. I don't know what is happening. And that is what this movie kind of feels like sometimes, too. But, see... Yes, like you're confused the whole time, but by the end you're like, I feel like I know.
Get it.
I get it. Yeah, I get it because he does a good job of telling a story still. Even in the wildest of Lynch movies or worlds that he comes up with his head, he makes it human. You know, he's able to tell these very human stories in a very non-human world, and I think that is a very fun viewing experience because we get to experience what is going on in his mind in some way, while also connecting to him in a very human level. The building of the fear of the radiator, I thought actually was really well done because at the beginning, it's very static. We're getting a lot of long takes of these like tableaus of people sitting or standing or walking through spaces. But then when he wants to focus in on something, he really focuses in on it and moves the camera around. And that first time that we saw that radiator, we were moving all around that thing. And we knew that it was an item of uncomfortability for Henry immediately. And then we kept going back to it and we were getting little hints like it lit up from within. And then we saw this stage, but that was it. That's all we got that time until we came back to it later, and then it showed and revealed a little bit more, building towards whatever fear he had tied to this radiator. I thought was very well done, and then ultimately it's what consumed him at the end.
Yeah.
Anything else scary about it? I mean, we got the Lynch world, we got the Lynch vibe for sure. So
we did.
That's what we lived in for 90 minutes. Let's get to the final ride then. The final. Nice. Let's pull into the.
Skirt.
Let's pull into the spot.
Let's pull up. Pull up.
Yeah, I mean, like we've talked about, we're really immersed into the Lynch world, and while it is uncomfortable and gross at times, there are these moments of like it being inherently funny.
We've got chicken tonight. Strangest damn things. They're man-made. Little damn things. Smaller than my fist. They're new. You'll be all right in a minute.
Everybody in this world is whack.
What a
whack.
What a whack world, man.
It's a whack world.
That's a whack ass world, Lynch.
I don't want to live here. I don't want to be them. No.
No, I don't think I'd live in a Eraserhead world.
Absolutely not.
No, thanks. We're good.
I don't want to be the child. I don't want to be anybody.
I don't want to be anybody.
I don't want to be anybody else.
I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. Yeah, we're recording an album. We're collabing with Lynch.
Yeah.
Lynch on the track.
His discography.
Eraserhead.
Eraserhead.
1977. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Let's get to these Smash Pumpkins, huh?
Oh my God. I don't know, man.
It's a tough one. It's a toughie.
It is a tough one.
I think I have a number, actually.
Yeah? Okay, you go first.
I'll go. I think for like a directorial debut, it definitely sets up a lot of things that are to come for the rest of his career. And it's undeniably influential on a lot of filmmakers. And he is an influential filmmaker just in general. So I think that I'm really happy that I finally saw this because it has been a movie that has been in my periphery or in my frame of mind of wanting to watch it for a very long time, even since film school. So I'm very happy that I saw it. Yes, it's very uncomfortable. Yes, it is very strange and gross, and sometimes too dark. But the lighting in general was really cool. But there were some scenes where I was like, what are we looking at? What are we looking at?
What
and
am I looking
very
at?
slow. It was definitely very slow. Props to him for keeping us in that the entire time, but yeah, it was painful. It was painfully slow sometimes. I think I am going to give it a 4.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm giving it a 3. A 3. Although David Lynch is, among one of my top people that I like, I enjoy their work. And for some film people, yeah, David Lynch, we talk about him a lot, but there's a reason why we talk about these people. They're bringing something new to the table, or at least they did when they started. And for all the things we've said before, you should see the episode if you want to get the review.
Rewind, go back to the top,
Rewind.
and then come back here for all those reasons.
And you'll see why I give it a 3. Yeah.
David Lynch, huh?
That's it.
What a guy. Thanks, man.
What a guy.
It was a good watch.
You
good watch.
rocky person. I love you.
Wackadoo.
Wackadoo.
All right. Should we see what we're getting next week?
Yes.
Cool. Is it my turn or is it your turn?
I believe it's my turn. I
Cool.
think you were the one that pulled Eraserhead.
This was my fault? Okay.
I think this is your fault.
This is my fault.
What do you want? What are you asking for? You want Bigfoot?
You know what I was thinking actually during the movie? I was like, we haven't picked one of the movies that we reviewed in the 31 days yet, because I did put those movies back in the bucket.
Oh no, Raw and Tusk.
Yeah.
I didn't see Tusk.
You didn't.
I fell asleep.
Well, you have 2. I don't know. You pick. I'm not going to look. Not that it matters even if I look, but.
Left or right?
Oh, okay. Right.
Okay. That's the one that I was going to pick anyhow because it seems thicker.
Yeah. Anyway, so I would want one of those 31 days.
One of the 31 days?
One of the 31 day movies.
Well, there's 5 writers. While passing through a vacation resort, a newlywed couple encounters a mysterious, strikingly beautiful countess and her aide.
And this was one of the 31 day movies.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I love this movie, actually. Daughters of Darkness.
Daughters of Darkness.
I love this movie.
Wasn't there for this one either.
You were not?
No.
Wow. Even better.
Even better.
Wow.
Look at that. Wow. Horror gods.
That's kind of weird.
Horror gods.
Horror gods. They're there. The bucket is real.
The bucket is real, y'all.
And yeah, there are a shit ton of writers. All right,
Yeah.
cool. We'll see you next week for that review of Daughters of Darkness.
Yeah, I'm
Me
excited.
too.
Well, we have a phone number, y'all, that you can call us, please, for the love of God.
Call us, please.
Please.
At
773-669-6677.
It's not that difficult to do on your hands.
In your hands?
I was doing it for the viewers, okay? If they have
That
us on
is true.
silent,
Yeah.
maybe that's the problem. So they can still call. I got you.
They're just rolling the video just
Exactly.
so we can get the views. Oh, you guys are so nice.
Thanks. You just want us there.
Well, yeah, no, because our voices are so soothing. People are using it as a way to fall asleep or die.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams forever. But in the meantime, you could go and follow me on Instagram, Color Me Leslie.
And me at BeepBeepRichieT. You can also follow us at the Deadlights Pod.
Yeah, you can.
But until next time,
Let's get spooky.
You're laughing at me, baby. I'm going to kill you.